The policeman moved along the avenue. It was nearly 10 o'clock, but the chilly gusts of wind, with a taste of rain in them, had nearly emptied the streets. He tried door as he went, twirling his club and turning now and then to look down the quiet street. With his square shoulders, he made a fine picture of the keeper of the peace. About halfway down the block, the policeman suddenly slowed his walk.
Hey dear, what are you doing? The shop is closed.
It's all right, officer. I am just waiting for a friend. It's a meeting that was set up 20 years ago. There used to be a restaurant here, Big Joy Brady's.
It was here until 5 years ago. The store is done then.
Just then, the man in the doorway lit his cigar.
20 years ago tonight, I eat dinner here with Jimmy Walls, my best friend. He and I were raised here just like brothers. The day after we ate here, I was to leave for the West to make my fortune. You couldn't have dragged Jimmy out of New York. He thought it was the only place in the world. Well, we agreed that night we would meet here in 20 years. It would not matter whether we were rich or poor, or how far we may have to come. We figured in 20 years both of us would have our lives worked out and our fortunes made. We knew that we don't be whatever we were going to be.
Sounds pretty interesting. Haven't you heard from your friends since you left?
Well, yes, for a time, but we lost track of each other. You see, the West was a pretty big place, and I keep moving around, but I come 1,000 miles to stand in this doorway tonight. I know Jimmy will meet me here if he is alive.
The watchman pulled out a handsome watch. It was set with small diamonds.
3 minutes to 10. It was exactly 10 o'clock when we parted.
Did pretty well out west, didn't you?
You bet. I hope Jimmy did at least half as well. He was a slow and steady worker though. I have had to fight it out with some of the sharpest minds in the country to get my money. A man gets in groove in New York. It takes the West to put a razor edge on him.
I will be on my way. Hope your friend comes. Expecting to show up at the exact meeting.
I should say not. I will give him half an hour at least. So long, officer.
Good night, sir.
The man who had come 1,000 miles to keep an appointment smoked his cigar and waited. There was now a fine, cold rain falling. The wind had risen to a steady blowing, and still Bob waited for his friend. About 20 minutes he waited, then...
Is that you, Bob?
Is that you, Jimmy Walls?
Bless my heart. It is Bob, sure as fate. How is the West treated you, old man?
It's given me everything I asked for. But say you have seen, Jimmy. I never thought you were so tall.
Oh, I grew a bit after you left.
Doing well in New York, Jimmy?
Moderately, I work for the city. Come on, Bob. We will go around the corner to a place I know and have good long talk about old times.
Say, you are not Jimmy Walls. The years don't change a man that much. 20 years is a long time, but the years can change a Roman nose into a straight one.
They sometimes make a good man bad. You've been under arrest for 10 minutes, Silky Bob. Chicago wires us that she wants to talk with you. Before we go to the station, here is a note I was asked to hand to you. It is from Parchman Walls.
The man from the West unfolded the little piece of paper. His hand was steady when he began to read, but it traveled a little by the time he had finished. The note was short.
Bob, I was at the appointed place on time.
when you struck the match to light your cigar. I saw that it was the face of a man wanting in Chicago. Somehow, I couldn't do it myself. So I went around to the police house and got a plain clothes man to do the job, Jimmy.